Hello students, a very good evening to all of you. Today I am discussing about some parts of fluid statics and fluid dynamics. So first of all, we should know about the meaning of fluid statics and fluid kinematics and fluid dynamics. So first point is fluid static. Fluid statics, or we can say that hydrostatics, is the branch of fluid mechanics in which we study about the mechanics of fluid when fluid at rest and a pressure in a fluid or exerted by the fluid on an immersed body. Immersed body means a body dipped in a liquid. Second one is fluid kinematics. Fluid kinematics is the branch of fluid mechanics in which we study about the mechanics of fluid when fluid is in motion. Third one is fluid dynamics. Fluid dynamics is also the branch of fluid mechanics in which we study about the mechanics of fluid when fluid is in motion and also consider the cause of motion, that is force. So now I am starting the first topic, that is pressure. You can see here unit number 2. Name of unit number 2 is fluid static. First topic is pressure. Pressure defined for fluid. First point related to pressure, that is pressure is a scalar quantity. Second one, pressure exerts a compressive force on solid surface kept in contact with fluid. Third one, pressure is defined at a point. Fourth one, average pressure over area A is equal to normal force upon area. If I am talking about solid material, then if a normal force act on a material, that is solid material, if it is in nature compressive in nature, then that solid material induced normal stresses. And if this force acting normal to the solid material is in tensile in nature, then that material induce at a point tensile normal stresses. So there is a little bit of confusion between pressure and stress. So I am trying to clear this confusion by showing mainly difference between stress and pressure. You can see pressure represents intensity of external forces acting at a point, while stress represents intensity of internal resisting forces, not external. In pressure, external forces, and in stress, internal resisting forces. That is IRF, internal resisting forces, develop at a point. Second point of differences between pressure and stress is that pressure is always acts normal to the surface. You can see here surface A of area A, and this F vector is normal force to the plane of surface. That is called pressure. While stress may also act either normal or parallel to the surface. If it is acting at normal direction, then this is known as normal stress. If it is acting parallel to the face or plane, then this is known as shear stress. You can see here this shows the biaxial state of stress representation. It has a 2D stress tensor. Sigma 2D is equal to 2 cross 2 square matrix A11, A12, A21, A22. A11 is equal to sigma x, A12 is equal to sigma y, sorry, not sigma y, A12 is equal to tau xy, A21 is equal to tau yx, and A22 is equal to sigma y. That shows the stress tensor for biaxial state of stress. Okay. This is the this figure shows the graphical representation of biaxial state of stress, and matrix also shows the matrix representation also shows the biaxial state of stress. One more point regarding pressure, you can see here, pressure at a point in static fluid is same in all direction. I am not talking about force at a point, I am talking about pressure at a point in static fluid, mainly static fluid is same in all direction, and this is the principle of Pascal's law. The proof is here. We have a small fluid element of dimensions in x direction del x, in z direction del z, and third dimension is ds. And there is three three pressures are acting on this fluid element. One is px, which is px pressure, which is normal to the plane AB. Second one pz, which is normal to the plane BC. Third one pn, which is normal to the plane AC. Now let width of the fluid element is b, that is perpendicular to this paper. Theta is arbitrary. Theta is the angle ACB. Angle ACB is theta. So you can calculate another angle 90 minus theta, and Pn is normal to the plane AC. So the angle between this Pn pressure and vertical line is also theta. So Pn has two component. One is vertically downward component, cos theta component, and another one is horizontal backward direction, in backward x direction, that is sine component of this Pn. So in triangle ABC, cos theta is equal to del x upon ds. So del x is equal to ds into cos theta. In triangle ABC, sin theta is equal to del z upon ds. So del z is equal to ds into sin theta. Now second step, force balance in x direction by using Newton's second law. F net vector is equal to ma vector. A vector is the acceleration. The value of this a vector is 0 because of static fluid. So F net vector is equal to 0 in particular direction. So if I will take x direction, so F net vector in x direction is equal to 0. In x direction there are two forces. First one is because of this px pressure, that is force, pressure is equal to force upon area, so force is equal to pressure into area. So force because of this pressure px is equal to pressure px into area of this plane AB, that is px into del z into b. B is the width which is perpendicular to this paper. Okay, so first one it is in forward direction, so positive px del z into b. Second one, because of this pn pressure, the horizontal component, that is pn sin theta, in backward direction, so it will take negative. Pn is the pressure, the force of force, pressure into area, so pn into area of plane AC, that is ds into b. So negative because in backward direction, so negative and sine component, so negative pn area ds into b and sine component sin theta is equal to 0. So you can see ds into sin theta is equal to del z. So put this value of ds into sin theta here, then we have then b del z cancel out, and we have px is equal to pn. That is the equation number first. Okay, then you can see here in z direction, p net z is equal to 0. In z direction there is three forces. First is because of pressure pz, second is because of pressure pn, and third is because of weight of the fluid element m, that is act vertically downward. You can see here red by using red pen, w vertically downward in z direction. So first is pz vertically upward, so positive sign, and pressure pz, so force, pressure into area, so pz into area of plane bc, that is del x into b. So pz del x into b plus pz del x into b plus, then because vertically upward, then vertically downward of cos component of this pn, that is pn cos theta. So minus pn is the pressure, and force, pressure into area, so pn into area of AC plane, that is pn into ds into b. So pn into with minus sign, so pn, you can see here pn into area ds into b into cos theta component minus because of this weight w vertically downward, so minus w. You can see here minus w, w is equal to mg, so minus mg. M mass, that is density into volume, rho into volume, volume area of triangle into width, that is half del x into del z area into width b. So you can see here ds into cos theta is equal to del z, sorry, ds into cos theta is equal to del x. So put the value of ds into cos theta here, then we by solving this we have dz pz is equal to pn plus half rho g del z is equal to 0 because of sink wedge to have a point, so del z 0, or we can say that volume of the fluid element is very small, so weight of the element is neglected. negligible. If we neglect the weight, so this third element of the force in z direction neglected, then we have only Pz is equal to Pn. First equation is Px is equal to Pn. Second equation is Pz is equal to Pn. So from equation first and 2, Px is equal to Pz is equal to Pn. All are pressure. So you can see here, pressure acting at a point in all direction in a static fluid are same. Not force, pressure at a point and in a static fluid are same. And this is the principle of Pascal law. Now I am talking about some units of pressure. First is 1 Pascal is equal to 1 Newton per meter square. Second, 1 bar is equal to 10 to the power 5 Pascal. Third, 1 atmospheric pressure is equal to 101,325 Pascal or 1.01325 bar, because I know 1 bar is equal to 10 to the power 5 Pascal. And 1 kgf, that is kilogram force, 1 per centimeter square is equal to 1 kilogram force is equal to 9.81 Newton. So 9.81 Newton upon 1 centimeter square is equal to 10 to the power minus 4 meter square. So upon 10 to the power minus 4. So you can see here 1 Newton per meter square is equal to 1 Pascal. So is equal to 9.81 into 10 to the power 4 Pascal. 1 psi, that is pound per square inch, is equal to 1 IBF. 1 IBF upon inch square, and 1 IBF is equal to 0.453 kgf, and 1 kgf is equal to 9.81 cross 10 to the power 4 Pascal, and 1 inch is equal to 2.54 centimeter. So by solving this, we have P1 psi is equal to 688.10 Pascal, and 1 psi is equal to 0.06798 atmosphere, and 1 atmosphere is equal to 14.7 psi. And the last unit of the pressure is 1 torr is equal to 1 mm of mercury, Hg, is equal to 133.416 Pascal. Now I am talking about scales of pressure measurement. You can see here for horizontal line, bottommost is black line, absolute zero or complete vacuum, and this is the reference line for topmost red line, that is absolute pressure line. So for absolute pressure line, this is the first absolute pressure line, which is greater than P atmospheric. So absolute zero is the reference. And for atmospheric pressure, P atmosphere, that is second last black line, second last from the top red line, you can see black line, that is the P atmospheric pressure. Means this is and reference line for this is also the absolute zero line. And you can see the second line from the bottom, that is blue color, and this line shows the absolute pressure 2, which is less than P atmospheric, and reference line is also absolute zero. Then for vacuum pressure, second last black line, and reference line is absolute pressure 2, which is less than P atmospheric. And for gauge pressure, which is at red line, and the reference line is atmospheric pressure. So you can see first point, atmospheric pressure can never be negative. Sorry, not atmospheric. First point is absolute pressure can never be negative. Second point, absolute pressure, for absolute pressure, reference is perfect or complete vacuum or absolute zero line. And for gauge pressure, reference line is atmospheric pressure line. You can see here for gauge pressure, reference line is atmospheric pressure line, and can never can be positive, negative or zero value. And here for gauge pressure, P absolute greater than P atmospheric, means P gauge is equal to P absolute, which is greater than P atmospheric minus P atmospheric. You can see here P absolute is equal to P gauge minus P atmospheric. Okay. Then fourth one is vacuum pressure. In vacuum pressure, P absolute less than P atmospheric. You will see here in vacuum pressure, P absolute less than P atmospheric. Okay. Then device is used for pressure measurement. First is barometer, is used to measure atmospheric pressure. Here we have a container in which it has mercury, and a tube also, which is dipping inside this container, and because of this, some amount of mercury has increased in this tube, which shows by the head edge, and it has a vapor pressure at the top, and mercury has at the top atmospheric pressure. So I have a horizontal line which has 2.1 and 2, and at 1 and 2 pressures are equal, so P1 equal to P2. P1 is the P atmospheric, P2 is the summation of vapor pressure PV plus pressure exerted by the mercury. that is rho m gh. So PV is negligible because mercury has low pressure, so it can be neglected, and has high density. So we will use this mercury as a working fluid in barometer. So P atmospheric is equal to rho m density of mercury into G into H. Okay. Second device for pressure measurement is piezometer. It is a simple glass tube, you can see in the figure, whose one end is connected to the point where pressure is to be measured and another is open to atmosphere. You can see in the figure. So the pressure at one point P1 is equal to atmospheric pressure plus pressure exerted by this working fluid. So working fluid density rho W. So pressure exerted by this working fluid rho W G, and head is H. So P1 is absolute pressure is equal to atmospheric pressure plus rho WGH. So P1 absolute pressure minus atmospheric pressure is equal to rho WGH. Absolute minus atmospheric pressure, gauge pressure. So P1 gauge is equal to rho WGH. Limitation of this piezometer: cannot be used for measuring vacuum pressure because absolute pressure in this greater than atmospheric pressure, while in vacuum pressure absolute pressure should be less than atmospheric pressure. Second limitation: cannot be used for high pressure. Third, simple U-tube manometer. In this, Px greater than P atmospheric. You can see this, it has two working fluid. First is working fluid and second one is mercury as a working fluid. Its one end is open to atmosphere. You can see the right hand end is open to the atmosphere and another one left hand is closed. So you can see here continuous mass of fluid. Point in horizontal plane, this is red line shows the horizontal plane. Points in horizontal plane has same pressure provided. They can be interconnected by two fluid. You can see this point 1 is interconnected by two fluid, working fluid and mercury. So this horizontal, we can draw a horizontal line which is passing from this interconnecting point. So on this horizontal line we have 2 points 1 and 2, and pressure on these points are equal. So P1 equal to P2. What is P1? Absolute pressure Px plus for pressure exerted by this working fluid rho W. So rho W into head gauge Z. So rho W into G into head Z. Okay, so Px plus rho, you can see on the right hand side in this equation Px plus rho W Gz. What is the P2? P2 is P atmospheric plus pressure exerted by mercury, that is P atmospheric plus, you can see on the right left hand side, P atmospheric plus rho m G y. Y is the head. So you can see here Px minus P atmospheric, that is absolute minus atmospheric gas. So Px gas is equal to rho m Gy minus rho W. This is not rho m. Last equation you can see here, this is not the last element of last equation. This is not rho m, this is rho W Gz. Okay, you can correct. Then next one is differential U-tube manometer. It is used to measure the pressure difference between 2 points, that is PA minus PB. Here PA greater than PB. You can see here on the left hand side working fluid is rho W1 density, and on the right hand side working fluid density rho W2, and in the mid we have mercury density rho m. So we have a interconnecting point 1 and draw a horizontal line passing through this, and we have 2 points on this horizontal line and pressures are equal at these 2 points. So P1 equal to P2. P1 PA absolute pressure plus pressure exerted by this working fluid 1 rho W1 G H2 head is equal to P2 pressure absolute pressure P2 PB plus pressure exerted by this working fluid 2 rho W2 G H1 is the head of this working fluid 2 plus pressure exerted by this working fluid mercury, then rho m G H. H is the mercury, H is the head for mercury, that is rho m G H. So we can calculate the PA minus PB. Now I am discussing about the fluid dynamics. So what is fluid dynamics? Study of motion of fluid, consideration of basic cause of motion, that is force. And fluid kinematics is the study of motion of fluid. For understanding the fluid dynamics, we have two equations: Euler equation along the streamline and Bernoulli's equation. So how to calculate the Euler equation along the streamline? You can see here we have a streamline. You can see at the bottom left hand side a curve shows and a inclined straight line, blue line, and again it has a curve that shows the streamline. And we have taken a small element of this streamline ds and perpendicular distance dn, and the weight acting of this element weight and the weight of this element acting in vertically downward direction mg, that is m mass rho density into volume, so rho into ds into dn into 1 is the width is unit because width is unit, so rho density rho into volume ds into dn into 1 into g. Consider here pressure force, gravity force and inertia force. So you can see one pressure is this one on dn plane p, another pressure is p plus del p upon del s into ds on dn plane also, but in direction is opposite as compared to p. So and it has weight has two components. One is in one is along the streamline, another one is perpendicular to the streamline. So and this s and n is the streamline coordinate system. Now you can see here force balancing along the streamline by using Newton's second law, that is f vector sigma f vector is equal to ma vector. Here a vector acceleration is not zero. Why? Because this is a fluid dynamics, not static. In static acceleration 0, but in dynamics acceleration is not 0. So sigma f vector forces along the streamline. There are three forces along the streamline because of pressure p1, because of pressure p, and because of pressure p plus del p upon del s into ds. So pressure into area force. So first force in forward direction along the streamline, pressure p into area dn into 1 because with this unit. So p into dn into 1, positive sign because in forward direction. Second one, this one, because of p plus del p upon del s into ds, pressure into area same, dn into, because plane is same, dn into 1, but it is in opposite direction, so it will take negative sign. So minus p plus del p upon del s into ds into dn into 1. Third one, the cos component of this weight, that is rho, that is mg cos theta. So rho ds into dn into 1 into g into cos theta. You can see here minus rho into ds into dn into g into cos theta is equal to m mass density into volume, that is rho into ds into dn into 1 into a along acceleration along the streamline as vector. And here you can see acceleration is equal to del v vector upon del t into dt upon dt plus del v vector upon del s into ds upon dt plus del v vector upon del n into dn upon dt plus del v upon del z into dz upon dt. You can see force balancing along the streamline. So n is perpendicular to the streamline, n is the direction which is perpendicular to the streamline, and z is the direction which is perpendicular to streamline and n also. So both are 0, and steady flow del v upon del t 0 and del s upon del t velocity v. So along the streamline acceleration as vector is equal to del v vector upon del s into v. Put the value here. Then by solving this equation we can get this one minus, also you can see here cancellation of ds into dn, minus del p upon del s minus rho g cos theta is equal to rho v del v upon del s. So del p upon del s, by solving this, del p upon del s plus rho g cos theta plus rho v del v upon del s is equal to 0. By multiplying on both sides del s, we can get del p plus rho g del s into cos theta plus rho v del v is equal to 0. You can see this del s cos theta is equal to del z in the fluid element triangle. Then del p plus rho g del z plus rho v del v is equal to 0. This is the Euler's equation along the streamline. Assumptions. First is inviscid fluid means dynamic viscosity is 0. I have already studied this topic. Or ideal fluid, steady flow means constant with respect to time. Irrotational flow means only force considered. Flow is along the streamline, that is laminar flow. Some notes, important note here. First is Euler's equation represents conservation of momentum of inviscid fluid. Second one, continuity equation represents conservation of mass. Third one, Bernoulli's equation represents conservation of energy. That is mechanical energy or total energy is equal to pressure energy plus kinetic energy plus potential energy. Now next one is Bernoulli equation. Bernoulli equation is deriving with the help of Euler's equation. You can see here del B upon rho plus G into del Z plus V into del V is equal to 0. This is the Euler's equation. By integration on both sides, we can get P upon rho plus V square upon 2 plus Gz is equal to constant. That is Bernoulli's equation. Assumptions are same like Euler's assumption. One additional assumption here, that is flow is incompressible. In terms of head, by dividing G of this equation, you can get P upon rho G plus V square upon 2G plus Z is equal to constant. P upon rho G pressure head, V square upon 2G dynamic, kinematic or velocity head, Z datum or potential head. Or multiplying by rho G, we can get P plus rho V square upon 2 plus rho Gz is equal to constant. P static pressure, rho V square upon 2 dynamic pressure. Okay, then you can see on the right hand side P plus rho V square upon 2, that is static and dynamic pressure summation is known as stagnation pressure. And P upon rho G plus V square upon 2G, that is pressure head and kinematic dynamic velocity head summation is known as stagnation head measured with Pitot tube. And you can see P upon rho G plus Z pressure head or datum or potential head summation is known as piezometric head measured with piezometer. P upon rho G plus V square upon 2G plus Z, that is pressure head, velocity, kinetic, potential, kinetic or dynamic head, datum or potential head summation is known as total head or mechanical head. You can see the definition of head, that is energy per unit weight. Head is equal to energy upon weight. So pressure head is equal to pressure energy upon weight, that is pressure energy PV upon mg. M mass, rho in density into volume, rho into V, we cancel, then we can get P upon rho G, that is pressure head. Now you can see here dynamic head or kinematic head. Kinematic energy upon weight is equal to half mv square upon mg. M cancel, then we have V square upon 2G, that is dynamic head. Datum head or potential head is equal to potential energy upon weight, mgz upon mg cancel, then we have Z is the datum head or potential head. We have two important notes here, that is one is first is as per Bernoulli's equation, when fluid flows along a streamline, total head remains constant, that is mechanical head or total energy. Second point, Bernoulli's equation is applicable in rotational flow provided fluid is inviscid fluid, that is dynamic viscosity 0. Now we have 2 points, rotational flow and for rotational and rotational flow. First is we have a fluid element, it has 4 streamlines, suppose C1, C2, C3, C4. In rotational flow, energies are not constant of streamlines respectively, while in irrotational flow for C1, C2, C3 and C4 streamlines, energies respectively, energies C1, C2, C3 and C4 of streamlines are same, constant. Second point, Bernoulli's can be applied between 2 points on the same streamline. You can see the first streamline here in rotational flow, points 1 and 2 are on same streamline, so you can apply the Bernoulli equation. While in irrotational flow, you can see this Bernoulli's equation can be applied between 2 points anywhere in the flow field. That is, first point I will take at first streamline and second point I will take at fourth streamline. You can take also on 2, 3, 3, 1, because Bernoulli's equation can be applied between 2 points anywhere in the flow field. Now you can see is some terms here, P upon rho G plus V square upon 2G plus Z is equal to constant. It shows energy per unit weight, that is joule per Newton. P upon rho plus V square upon 2 plus ZG is equal to constant, that is shows energy per unit mass, unit joule per gram. P plus rho V square upon 2 plus rho Gz is equal to constant, that is energy per unit volume. It shows energy per unit volume, unit joule per meter square. So you can see some numericals here. So these numericals for your assignment I hope you will try your best. If you have any problem solving these questions, then you can contact me on my email id. This is my email id, sid.kumar240@gmail.com. These are the numericals. First numerical EAC 1996, second numerical from EAC 1995, third numerical from IAS 1999, fourth numerical related to Bernoulli's equation, fifth numerical related to manometer, and some continuation part of this is here, EAC 2004. Sixth numerical related to manometer, seventh numerical related to manometer, and eighth numerical related to Bernoulli's equation, and continuation of this part is here, EAC 2017. So thank you students, stay home and stay safe. Thanks.